Hello, everyone. My name is Rene-Lee. I was recording videos when I was truck driving, and I want to continue doing that. I took some time off from truck driving. I took winter off because I didn't want to do winter truck driving. Um, I went and drove Uber in Kelowna for a bit, and then now I've actually taken just time off for January, February, and up until middle of March, until which I will probably be going to work for the same truck driving company in March in Alberta. And uh, I'm the goal of these videos is to talk about Bitcoin actually. So previously I had been talking about Knomee, which is the reputation startup that I'm working on with some friends, and that's actually so. These next few videos, or a bunch of them, are all going to be about Bitcoin. I'm basically going to be sharing as much as I possibly can about Bitcoin because now the startup Knomee is going to be my bread and butter, and I have to be considerate of the efforts of everyone contributing to that project. So, I'll share that information as we're ready to share it. I think that's everyone has to make a living, and so we have to kind of take time with that. But I noticed, especially I was driving Uber for a bit there, and I would lots of people still had questions about Bitcoin, which is so funny because I was into Bitcoin for I guess it's been 11 years now. No, 12 years. So I feel I know the subject pretty well, and I'm going to be sharing um, as much as I can about Bitcoin uh, in these next few videos, and that's going to be the goal of it. And part of that goal is also to get a little bit of a following, so that um, when I am ready to share information about Knomee, uh, there's a broader audience that I can reach. But first, I am going to share about Bitcoin and its place in the world, because um, there still seems to be confusion of you know what it's going to do, and why it was invented and its place in the world. So that's a little bit about me, my name. The main subject of these videos for now is Bitcoin, and then the future subject will be Knomee. So back to the main, or on to the main subject. Um, so the internet was a communication technology. It's a general purpose communication technology, right? And when general purpose communication technologies are invented, it affects every area where that tool is applicable. So, computers amplified our cognitive ability, our brain, just a raw calculation ability of our brain. The internet amplified our communication. You can even go back to mechanical leverage, amplified our muscles, and and it was applied to every single form of amplification that of a muscle exertion as we could possibly imagine. Um, Communications. So the internet. I'm gonna. Well, this is good because I'm gonna get better at speaking in front of people. So hopefully you can just bear with me as I get better at just getting it out. Um, so you kind of get the point. I'm talking about general purpose technologies. And what is the blockchain? The blockchain is a trust machine. And in the early days of Bitcoin and the blockchain, a lot of people called it the trust machine. That kind of fell back because it's maybe people don't like thinking in that term or something, or maybe people don't like thinking about general purpose technologies. Um, but it helps you, if you understand that. It helps you understand where we've been and where we're going. And so the first application was Bitcoin, of the trust machine, right? The blockchain is the trust machine, and the first blockchain was Bitcoin. So where so Bitcoin so Bitcoin replaced the previous application of its use case, which was gold. And that had to do with exchanging value and trusting that when I give you this unit of account, uh, it's tough with no conversation with people. Maybe in my next episode, I'll get someone to have a conversation with. But um, so the unit of account. Oh, I'm gonna butcher this so bad. Oh man, this is hard to monologue. Uh, Maybe we don't have to go that far back of an explanation. Everyone knows Bitcoin is being used as money, and they don't have to understand exactly why and all the fundamental characteristics of money. Uh, I think, yeah, I guess I can shortcut it to Bitcoin's place in the world. And uh, with my understanding, I would say Bitcoin's place in the world is with some equilibrium between gold and fiat currency and Bitcoin. So, as far as a store of value, Bitcoin competes directly with gold, but I am guessing gold will still maintain some sort of relevance in, but Bitcoin is just, as far as doing the same application in a digital form, it's gonna just take over every digital application for that. But it's not going to replace fiat. And the reason it's not going to replace fiat, but the reason it's not going to replace fiat is that um, fiat is so fiat. The printing of money, the government has the ability to expand the monetary supply, which essentially just means in today's world entering new units of currency into a computer, and the bank and the central bank lends it to the government, and we already know how that all works. But bottom line is, the powers that be are able to increase the money supply. Now, why is that good? Because it sounds evil as fuck. Um, Hopefully, I don't. As I guess I'm not allowed to swear. I guess I have to beat that out. Maybe we'll test it. I'll post a video, and if it gets delisted, then I'll learn my lesson. But the reason it's good is because it gives society a backstop for essential organizations. And we're talking about real essential organizations like the police, fire department, um, some level of civilization works like bridges and roads, and some level of experimentation on a large scale, government projects. But let's get to why it's like really important that uh, we have a government that can expand the monetary supply. Um, it's because if the world was all Bitcoin and you tried to coordinate all the people who were holding their Bitcoin, we would not be able to coordinate ever, and it would always be fighting, and it would always result in local wars and regional wars, and even or fight. Even you can think of it even on a micro scale, like a neighborhood that tries to get together and build a park. It's like you got to try to organize all those people and convince them to give some of their Bitcoin to some contractor, and like who's going to be the contractor? It's going to be. I mean, I in the early days of Bitcoin, I actually tried to solve this problem of civil works in a Bitcoin economy, and I don't think it can be done. People have to be forced against their will to lose some of their value that they saved from working, so that we can have or a police that doesn't go broke, fire departments that don't go broke, a government that doesn't go broke because they overspend and they're lazy and they just whatever the reason. Um, uh, so that's so what is Bitcoin's place in the world? If we need fiat to have reliable um, organizations, essential organizations, and not all government organizations are essential, because obviously you give a government that power, um, they're going to abuse it eventually. Maybe after World War II, they didn't abuse it all that much. Maybe it was, that was the revolution, was a low tax society with minimal printing, minimal inflation, and then slowly, that revolution got co-opted by people that wanted to control the money printing. Okay, let's see how much time I've been recording for. There's a timer on this. 15 minutes. Okay, so this is a 20-minute video. Not many people will watch it. Okay, so if fiat is good, what is Bitcoin's place in the world? Bitcoin's place in the world is to provide a convenient digital deflationary store of value. Gold 2.0, and these are the talking points. They're pretty easy to say, and they make perfect sense. And why do we want them? We want them to have a convenient way to escape inflation if the government's printing too much, which they have been. And we want to be able to exchange that store value easily in today's world. Now, what is the value? What is the total value of that? Like, how much is Bitcoin going to be worth? So I'm going to include a little bit of that. I know I've been rambling off a little bit. Hopefully this video goes well. But I want to, let's put this down. Okay. So in the early days of Bitcoin, I basically calculated that if Bitcoin took over all of fiat currency and gold, it'd be worth $2.3 million per Bitcoin. But I don't think that's actually going to happen because of what I just said. Like, fiat currency is good so that we can have uh, uh, basically the essential organizations that we need to maintain an organized society. So that's why we need fiat. Okay, fine. So if we also are going to benefit from Bitcoin, like Bitcoin on a user, I'm just rambling, on a use case basis, holy frick, this is going to be so bad. Like, I don't know if I could show this. Okay, what's Bitcoin going to be worth? So here's what Bitcoin is a digital technology, and there's been other digital technologies that follow the same growth curve. And that growth curve is an S curve. And that S curve goes like that. Now this is when Bitcoin was founded, and this path may look small. It may look like it's not going to grow that much, but what is actually happening is the value of Bitcoin during this phase has massive growth spurts, like 1,000x, and another 1,000x, which is 10x, right? It 10x's, it crashes, it 10x's, it crashes, and Bitcoin has done that for 14 years or whatever, 14 years now. And what are some previous examples of this growth curve? You got Facebook, you got Twitter, you got rats on an island. The only time you don't reach this 8,000% growth phase here. The only time you don't reach that is if something kills off the invention. Like if in the case of Facebook, maybe the Winklevoss twins won their lawsuit, took over control of Facebook, and then introduced some features that ended up killing it, and introduced some features that ended up ruining the innovation, and then Facebook crashed. That was like a possibility that could happen. Same thing with Twitter. Twitter could have had some features incorporated and it crashed. Clubhouse maybe is an example of something like that. They don't have certain features, and maybe it hasn't caught on for that reason. Maybe it will catch on in the future. It's not over yet for Clubhouse. They still have users and they still have some activity. Uh, but if an application, after approximately 10 years per application, it reaches a point of virality where it has its feature set in a certain way that um, that satisfies the user, to like satisfies every user, uh, then that's when it goes through its viral growth of an 8,000% increase in adoption. Um, Bitcoin's price is unique uh, that it was public from day one, right? If this was Facebook and Twitter, you wouldn't see the price spikes, you wouldn't see the volatility. But Bitcoin is unique in its design and its creation, that its price was public from day one. So you saw the 1,000% increases and the crash, and another 1,000% and a crash, yada yada yada. Um, Now, obviously, I can't. Well, I mean, I can't promise 8,000% increase, but I can say, judging by historical precedents, historical examples, uh, you can expect some sort of 8,000% increase. Now, why can you accept that? And as far as now, my mouse just isn't. It's not that smooth, so I can't calculate all this stuff. I don't want to write all this stuff because it's just going to look bad. But I guess this video has already been bad enough. But um, so what should I explain next? Uh, right. My original valuation, if Bitcoin just replaced gold, was about $300,000. Oh, so here, so original price. Okay, two prices. Original, adjusted. Adjust. Adjusted. I'm sorry, I'm using a shitty mouse. Okay. Shitty mouse. All right. Both these are for this point right here. So original valuation, this was in 2013. That's when I got into Bitcoin. And no, you can ignore your imagination of how much Bitcoin I have. Yeah, you can ignore that completely. Um, and obviously, that's something everyone should keep to themselves, and you learn that the hard way. Let's say that. So, original valuation, if it just replaces gold, was about $350,000 per Bitcoin. After, oh, this is so bad, so disgusting and bad. Holy smokes! I did no preparation, minimal preparation for this video. Disgusting. Okay, 350,000 adjusted, and the reason I'm adjusting this is, okay. So how did I reach $350,000? I'm not going to type out all the math because it's going to take forever, but I'm just going to say it. So, um, the the at the time, the market cap of all gold in the world was about 7 trillion. And today, I guess we can look. Well, I guess, yeah. Well, I don't have to look it up because I could just adjust for inflation. But um, so that it was right. There's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin. Gold is about 7 trillion. If you divide 7 trillion by 21 million, it was last time I checked, which was a long time ago, but the math doesn't change. It was about $350,000 per Bitcoin. That's if Bitcoin replaced all of gold's value, or because Bitcoin's going to take its own place in the universe, in the marketplace, it's probably going to be I'm guessing, somewhere near the value of gold or greater. So I'd say the minimum that Bitcoin is going to become is $350,000 per Bitcoin, right? $7 trillion worth of gold divided by 21 million Bitcoin. Okay, but that was in 2013. The government printed an insane amount, every government printed an insane amount of money. They increased the money supply. I don't know, it had to be like by 2 times or 3 times or 4 times. So if you, we'll just take it on the, I'm going to add, so what you would do is you'd take this and you multiply it by 4, and uh, and you'd also add some capturing the of the marketplace for fiat currency, because Bitcoin will probably replace the use of fiat currency, uh, because Bitcoin can actually do that. Um, maybe that's a place for stable coins, but just let's. I'm going to end this video real freaking quick here. 25 minutes. So 4x plus an additional 2x, maybe 4x plus an additional 2x. So 350,000 uh, times 6. Um, shit. 2.1 million. Holy fuck. Yeah, I guess it. Sorry. Swore again. Okay, 2.1 million. Oh, shit. Okay, back that up. No editing. Hey, no editing. This is gonna just go viral as a freaking terrible video. That's what it's gonna do. So that's interesting. 2.1 million at today's total addressable market size, given inflation, and what is today's price? Today's price is 100,000, right? So that's the price of um, that is the price. That is the price today. Let me just get rid of that. Let me just get rid of that. Oh, just S's are terrible. Let me get rid of that. Okay. That's interesting because that is 21 times. 21 times. Now, 8,000% is roughly 79 times. It's equal to, it's weird math when you do 79x. Now the reason I'm kind of finding this interesting is because 8,000% increase means the price is going to increase by 79x. But you can see now that today's value is $100,000, uh, and I kind of, my adjusted figure. This was 13 years ago that I did this valuation, 350,000, and this is today, just roughly speaking, 2.1 million, and that's 21 times. So if Bitcoin follows previous technologies like Twitter, Facebook, or viral growth curves like rats on an island, then it should actually increase to 7. This is telling me that it's going to 7.9 million. Now, I'm going to leave that to the viewer to sit with. So I guess my projection for Bitcoin is between 2.1 million and 7.9 million. Uh, that's going to grab a lot of attention. That might change things, and may even I still, unless we develop technologies as a society to build uh, uh, community projects like bridges, buildings, and fund police, fire departments, and welfare, and essentially taking care of each other. You could think of fiat currency as social currency, and you could think of Bitcoin, unfortunately, as like a selfish currency. Um, I think society is gonna want to use the social currency, which is fiat currency, and that's, a lot of Bitcoiners may not like that. Um, but why do most people like that? Most people like that because uh, of the threat of violence. Because there are people out there who will use the threat of violence to get something from someone. And you eventually need someone to call to protect yourself. And that person, it helps if that person is paid by um, by the organization that has uh, unlimited money, so that they can protect the people that they protect. Now that I'm explaining this, I don't know if I want to post this video. Um, it's just, it kind of puts a target on you. I don't know, because you're telling the truth or something. Um, I, I I guess this is okay. Hopefully, I can end it after I say this. But I guess this is the conclusion I want to share with everyone. Is that, like, I have a lot of people who really love Bitcoin because of me. I got into it and I loved it. It was a great invention, and I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. And it's pretty good. Um, but I'm just telling you, it's not everything. It is a lot. It has the network effects. Nothing's going to replace it as the digital gold. Like, nothing's going to. It has too much network effects. Network effects, like, it has the most miners. It has the most savers. It has the most lenders. It has the most spenders. It has not, people don't like spending their Bitcoin, but they still do because they need stuff. And sometimes people accept Bitcoin, and sometimes people prefer Bitcoin. Um, and so it has the best network effects. It's not going anywhere. It's solidified its place as digital gold and all that stuff. So, my the thing I really want to share with everyone is, yes, it's gonna go up in price, but there's a limit to how much society wants to use Bitcoin. Right? There's a limit. I'm gonna, yeah. Yeah, there's a limit to how much society wants to use Bitcoin right now, unless someone figures out a way for humans to coordinate in a finite money supply. Right? The thing is, the universe is not finite in energy, and so collectively, being social animals and all that, when we're all being good and kind to each other and all these things, it's a positive sum game. We grow. The pie grows when we all coordinate, and that coordination can only really happen in a money supply that grows. So fiat currency, and that way uh, that's why there's there is a place for Bitcoin, there's a place for gold, and there's a place for fiat. Um, Bitcoin has the most growth potential out of all three of those. Fiat is probably going to shrink. The government currency is probably going to shrink in use because people don't have a lot of faith in them anymore, and they don't really like using their overprinted money. So Bitcoin is probably going to grow. Uh, but Bitcoin's not going to grow forever unless we figure out how to coordinate. You know how the government tries to aim for a 3% inflation rate? So essentially, that means they're taking 3%. They're my hands and the mirror image thing. When the government prints money, it steals 3% of your savings from you over the year, and they spend it on whatever they spend it on. They spend it on bridges, they spend it on roads, they spend it on social programs. They paid some of their staff. Some of the government is paid through taxes, but some of it is paid through inflation, the printing of money. But so giving the government the ability to essentially take, maybe it's not stealing because we are subconsciously agreeing to using their currency. The only way that Bitcoin is going to continue to grow to infinity is if somehow we figure out how to coordinate, like Bitcoin, the community figures out how to coordinate between everyone. It has to be everyone that owns Bitcoin has to coordinate to the same level of that coordination that money printing does. So imagine all Bitcoiners figure out how to give or have some of their Bitcoin taken from them. It probably won't happen, but imagine somehow. Well, you don't imagine all Bitcoiners gave 3% of their Bitcoin on an annual basis to some wallet or some pool of funds of Bitcoin, and the people that controlled that pool of Bitcoin spent it on public works, spent it on making sure police don't go broke, making sure fire department doesn't go broke, so on and so forth. That's the only way Bitcoin goes to infinity. But if that's not figured out, then Bitcoin is not going to go to infinity, and there's a limit to how high it goes. And that is a question for everyone. Even me spending 13 years in Bitcoin, I don't know how high Bitcoin will go. 13, I forget how many years I've been into Bitcoin. 20, not doing the math. 12 years. Sorry, 12 years. So how high will Bitcoin go? Well, this little chart here, between 2.1 million and 7.9 million, rough estimate. That's, oh shit, yeah, I guess the other thing, okay, I hate to end it on this, but I suspect that the financial system found a way to suppress gold's price in the 70s through ETFs, and obviously Bitcoin got their ETFs recently. So Bitcoin, given no financial coercion, should go up a lot. But if there is some financial coercion, it's still very difficult for them to do, but they may be able to cap the price of Bitcoin in some way. What they do is they increase the supply of Bitcoin by creating paper Bitcoin, or claims to Bitcoin that are not actually backed by physical Bitcoin. So I think that's everything. I think that's now. I think what I'm just going to open up. Okay, I look at my agenda. Okay, I definitely got that done, and I definitely got that done. Okay, good. And then closing statement. I think I just did I did a 3 different closing statements. And now the last thing on this video, if you made it this far, first off, thank you. That is pretty cool, and congratulations, because maybe this information has helped you understand what's going on. So that's about it. Oh boy, that's 41 minutes. Okay. Talk to you later. Rene-Lee signing out.